evening. So this is our third video about the props and costumes used in my roleplays. And tonight I will show you the Steampunk Optometrist props. But before I begin, I just wanted to thank you for all the kind and wonderful comments you left on this video. I never thought it would go that far and reach more than 1 million views, so I'm very grateful. Actually, I've never been a steampunk expert, and the idea of this specific character and atmosphere came to me when I saw goggles on Etsy, and it just popped up in my mind. And when I started the researches for this video, I knew almost nothing about the steampunk world. I just had a vague idea of what it was, so it has been a very interesting process for me, and I learned a lot. I believe Pinterest has been my best friend for the visuals. So let's dive in, and we are going to start with the eye chart. The first thing that I wanted for this video was, of course, a Sennheiser test. You can't really make an eye exam without an eye chart, right? So I was looking for a kind of vintage one, and I found this, and that was absolutely perfect. I really like the color used for the background. And since I make all my sets in my living room, I was afraid that it would be too small, because you need a certain distance between the eye chart and the camera. But in the end, it was just fine. This is not a vintage item. It's a poster you can find on many websites. I will leave a link down below. I will probably leave a lot of links for this video, so be sure to check the description box. So here you have the distance from where you are supposed to be able to read each line. That means, this one for example, if you can't read it at 100 feet from it, or less, that probably means you need glasses. I really like the glasses here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip to the next props. So, next, I believe this is why many of you are here. I've lost the count of comments and questions I read about this lenses set. So this is an actual vintage set. It was for sale on eBay last summer. And since I was working on the optometrist roleplay, my husband decided it would be my birthday gift. And this was one of the most amazing gifts I've ever had. It was sold by an English lady whose father started out as an optician in the 40s, and when he bought it, it was already used, and that means it's approximately 100 years old, and it's in perfect condition, as you can see. There is only one lens missing here. And we can see that there was already plastic. I may not make many sounds with it tonight, but I'm working on another video dedicated to this set, as most of you requested it through the poll I posted a few weeks ago. So now let me explain a bit what you see here. So basically there are 3-4 corrections this set is supposed to determine, and other small adjustments as well. If you already wear glasses or contact lenses, you will probably know what I'm talking about, but I will try to make it clear for everyone. So, if you can see close-up objects clearly, but distant objects appear blurry, that usually means you are myopic or short-sighted, so you will need concave lenses. But if it's the opposite, meaning close objects appear out of focus while distant objects are clearer, you are probably far-sighted and you will need convex lenses. And here in the middle, we have the lenses that can determine astigmatism. That is another kind of vision trouble, meaning your eye isn't completely round, so it causes some kind of distortion. So again we have concave and convex lenses, but it's not linked to the others, meaning you can need concave lenses for your myopia, but still need convex lenses to correct your astigmatism. I won't dive in too deeply with that because I am not an expert and I don't want to say dumb things. And these lenses here, quite thick, are meant for troubles like diplopia, also known as double vision, or other troubles like strabismus. And I came to my optician to learn more about some of the single lenses, but the explanations were very technical, and she could not explain this to me in an easy way. Clearly, you cannot become a vision expert in 5 minutes. So I will stick to what I actually understood. Of course, the poorest your vision is, the strongest correction you will need. For the roleplay, you were supposed to have a slight myopia, so I used the lowest numbers here. I do wear glasses or contact lenses every day, and I am both myopic and astigmatic. And the lenses that work best for me, let's say for the right eye, is this one for myopia and this one for astigmatism. So if I want to recreate my glasses, I would need to put these two lenses like this. And there it is. Of course, I will not go out with that. It's already a quite heavy correction. I cannot live without it, or I wouldn't even be able to recognize my own family if they were more than, let's say, 5 meters from me. I'm glad I will make another video about this set because I realize I'm not really able to pick lenses and talk at the same time. So, this is how it works, basically. Let's skip to the next item. And here are the goggles I used for this roleplay. They all come from various Etsy shops and are handcrafted or at least hand upgraded, except one that was borrowed, and don't have it anymore. That was the one that looked like motorcycle goggles. And since I already made a kind of show and tell with some of them in the roleplay, I will skip directly to those that were left on the set. So first one. It's a quite intricate model, and what I like about it is the outer lenses. That double the eyes protection. It made the whole pair quite fancy and whimsical. Actually, I wonder if these can be used as a real protection or if it's just an accessory for cosplay. And there are some gears all over the outside. They are quite big. I don't think I would be comfortable with them because I have a small head. Next. These are quite similar to the very first goggles I described in the video. That was this one. And actually the two were made by the same small Spanish company. These are quite simple and classic, but I like simple things. The lenses are covered with some kind of portholes, and that gives more like a navy steampunk look. And the last one I did not pick in the video was this pair here. It's probably the most popular steampunk goggles. There are some magnifiers on one side and even a small light here. That's pretty cool. Of course, I wouldn't have used this light in the video because, in my opinion, there are not such things as batteries in the Victorian era. I wanted to show you quickly another one. Unfortunately, due to the COVID crisis, there are some troubles with postal services everywhere, and this pair did not make it in time for the video. And it's a shame, because it's the most beautiful and elegant pair of goggles I've ever seen. All handcrafted and so classy. I just love it. It's carved with gears on the bend and on the sides. Very elegant. There is a watch here. But the optometrist will come back next summer, and I'm sure I'll be able to find a good way to have these starring in the roleplay. Alright. Next one. And next there was this round box. I'm not sure, but I think it's made of cardboard. And this comes from my grandmother's house. Again. I think it was her sewing box. I don't really know how old this is. Maybe 60 or 80 years. Some of you might remember that I used this in the servant roleplay as well. So, for the steampunk video, I filled it with steampunk charms and pendants. And they make lovely sounds. These were bought in several Etsy shops, but I believe you can find them on Amazon too. So, it's mainly gears, but we have clock hands, of course, some really tiny ones, and some clocks. I believe these are meant to become necklaces, pendants, earrings. there are all kinds of gears. I'm pretty sure I will use them again. Maybe to customize your next goggles. Who knows? And now I wanted to say a few words about some decorative items I used. First, there were some steampunk masks. This one can be found in many costume stores or on internet. And this was initially bought for another ASMR collab with Tinglesmith ASMR, where viewers had to guess the ASMR artists' identities. I will leave a link to it if you want to check it out. It was a very funny collab, and you might discover some ASMR artists you don't know yet. I really like the design and the color as well, and all the details and how the light reflects on it. And this is a one-of-a-kind that was supposed to be my mask for the collab, but again, because of the problems with postal services, it did not make it in time. So I thought it would be a great addition to the Optometrist set. It's very well crafted, and it comes from a Russian creator on Etsy. He is very talented, and he makes beautiful pieces that you won't find anywhere else. I think this could be cyberpunk as well. Maybe more cyberpunk than steampunk. What do you think? It makes me think a bit of gas masks because of the eyes part. But it's beautiful. And it has the perfect size for a woman's head, Let me show you the inside. He even added a kind of soft bedding for comfort. Here is another item that was used in the servant roleplay, and a lot of people asked me what it was. It's a sextant. It was used by mariners to get their bearings on both ocean and land. This comes from one of my grandfathers, who was an antique collector. It was invented in 1750, but this one is not that old, of course. It's probably from the beginning of the 20th century. I'm not really sure of how it works, but you were supposed to look through the small telescope here and measure the angular distance between the sun or any other star and the horizon, thanks to these mirrors here, and I think there was one here as well, and it helped to determine your position. I don't know much about it, but if you are interested, you may find a lot of information on Google or YouTube. So you had to look at the sun, the horizon, and determine the angle formed from where you were. And there are some color filters here. I don't know what it is for. Two others here. I really love this kind of antiques. It really has a story. And I think it was actually used. This one, I mean. There is a wooden handle here. So, as I said, you could use this on land, but it was mainly used on oceans. And finally, the last item I wanted to show you is that notebook. I read questions about this too, and some of you asked where I got it. It was handmade by a small French steampunk company, and I think it's a one of a kind, and it can't be found on internet. Actually, it's a notebook that was covered with patterned fabric. With golden edges. And what I liked about it was, of course, the pocket watches. And speaking of pocket watches, let's skip to the final part, the costume and accessories. So, the costume was made of two different parts, both found on second-hand websites. There was this skirt made of cotton, with a kind of belt and buckle. To give that steampunk look. There is a beautiful fabric for the waistband. I'm not sure you can see it. It was quite simple, but I like it. And the top is probably the most interesting part. It is supposed to be made of cotton, except the sleeves, of course, but I'm quite skeptical. But I must say I'm in love with the ruffles. I cannot resist ruffles. It's so classy. And there is this adorable propeller as a kind of choker. And we can actually twist it. I do feel like a child, but I love this. Such a nice detail. And there are two small chains. And then a few accessories like these earrings, bought on an Etsy shop again. Very simple but so cute. Two small watches. And it's 10 past 10 on both of them. these gear glasses that I wore on my head. I have no idea where this originally comes from. I found it on a second-hand website, and when I saw it, I knew it would be the perfect headpiece. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 gears. And lastly, there was also this pocket watch that I used in the second apothecary roleplay as well. Usually I try to buy second-hand or handmade items, but I couldn't find a watch that matched what I had in mind. I found this one on Amazon. It's entirely mechanical. No battery needed. You just have to wind it from time to time, just as they did in the 18th and 19th centuries. And that's it. What I like about mechanical items is that they can last forever if we take good care of them. And we can see the mechanism through the glass on both sides. And this is so beautiful and mesmerizing. Let's see if we can make a close-up. So intricate. That's fascinating. And I think I haven't forgotten anything. If you still have questions, I'll be delighted to answer them in the comment section. So, as always, thank you for watching. And good night.